Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're continuing our look at the new Transformers Earthrise line with the deluxe class Hoist. Ooh, a lot of syllables there. Getting it my patter on and what have you. I got this figure and all the other figures we're going to see off of eBay, but they are showing up in brick and mortar retail such as Target and Walmart, and should hopefully be available at online locations sooner than later. Amazon is still holding to the March release date, but they just did some price reductions on the deluxe class figures. So if you are interested, go ahead, check them out. They do, of course, have the Micromasters in stock, which I've already mentioned. Now, this is actually only our second update to Hoist in the Generations Classics Universe 2.0 line. And the first one, which came out during Thrilling 30, I really enjoyed. But it was, I would say, not a radical new take, but a shift from what we know Hoist to be. It was a little more svelte. His hook did a nice little transformation to a nice handheld blaster, and it was a little more stylized for the times. This version of Hoist goes way back to the original G1 Diaclone designs, where he's like a nice beefy boy, hadn't missed too many meals. And a little aside, if you can, I do recommend picking up the Encore release of Hoist, because it does give you some nice tampographed designs. I think a more animation accurate head, but retains all those fun spring-loaded gimmicks, launching fists, launching missiles, in the Japanese toy that were taken out for the American toy. It's all good. So, in vehicle mode, there are a few gimmicks. Obviously, Hoist can store his weapon, which you see right here, which is an orange version of if you remember on the cartoon, he didn't have a hand, he had a little blaster thingy. I know if Takara was able to do their own thing, that would be a chrome silver or some sort of metallic silver. But he also has the tow winch here, which they actually molded a wheel on. Not molded, but it is a free rolling wheel, which means it can roll while that is down. But it is also part of that new interactive bridge city building system, where you can plug this on to Ironworks, or I think Sonic Barrier, the little shield guys with the bridge parts, and anything else with that type of connection. But if you'd like to have it folded up, it's very simple. Go ahead, pop it out of that groove, and flip it around and forward, and it will peg into place, and then just fold those wings back into place. More on those when we get into the transformation proper. Other than that, this is a nice update to that truck design. You do see a little bit of that battle damage, which doesn't look that bad. I mean, this is an off-road type vehicle, so you would see some scuffage there. Other than that, the wheels roll very nicely. That is if you have it transformed properly. Before getting into robot mode, let me just mention, when going to vehicle mode, you want to make sure these arms are tucked all the way in. There are tabs on either forearm, which will fall into slots right behind the wheel wells. If they are not in properly, the vehicle will not roll. So that's about it for the vehicle mode. Let us get into transformation right now. Okay, so transformation is fairly simple, although there are a few fiddly parts. If you haven't already, do fold up that little back section and go ahead and remove the weapon. It just pegs into the side there. For the first step, what you want to do is fold out these wings, and actually you're going to unpeg that little back section again, just like so. And then you want to get your nail in there, or thumb, and flip up that little white section, and then peg this back into place, just like so. And bring those back down, keep them out of the way. Next, what you want to do is disengage the arms from the front here. Bring up that front section. They'll just hang out like that. And then you can go and unpeg this whole backpack. It pegs into the legs and into the side panels. And you just want to really, right now, just flip it up and get it out of the way. Go ahead. Bring the arms out to the side. And that will free up the legs. And I would recommend just going ahead and flipping them out. When going into vehicle mode, they actually have you do this a little bit later as a step. I would recommend folding the legs up as soon as you get that waist section flipped up, which, by the way, you're going to bring it down now. That whole section right there with that orange, where my finger is, that orange panel goes into that back right there. And friction's into place. Now you're just going to bring it down, and that will friction forward, making sure everything is Copus Mendi. Bring the chest section down, and you're going to fold it all the way until it comes around. And keep going into that little groove area. Bring the arms, the panels up like so. Bring this back panel down, and you're going to want to hinge it. Oh, before you do that, you can start working on bringing the head panel around just like that. Bring the hinges out on that. It's a double hinge, so make sure you have enough clearance to bring the head up. Then you're going to bring it down so that that orange tab pegs into a slot there in the backpack. Bring the little scanner doohickey light bar up. Bring the arms down. Rotate them at the bicep so they face forward. And there you have Hoist in its robot mode. The next step, final step, is to bring those little fins up. They sort of have locking detents. They sort of don't. It's a vicious cycle. Bring the weapon back in. As you can see, it is designed to not just go in the hand, but cover the hand entirely. Make sure that looks a little forward. And there we go. Very nice looking figure. Bring out some of the ankle tilt here, help it stand a little. It's a big boy. This is what, if Cliff Jumper was a smaller deluxe, Hoist is one of the larger deluxes, much like Ironhide and Ratchet. One thing I kind of like that I think a lot of people won't is they did remain true to that original G1 aesthetic and have little arm fins there, which, you know, for lateral movement and bending at the elbow is fine, but if you want to rotate the whole arm, it comes along with you. Also, and this is just on my figure, bringing in the Hot Rod Patrol combined weapon. Yeah, the arms are just way too loose, too floppy to support any of the weight. Speaking of the arms, you also do have a little bit more of that siege, battle damage type of design. The head panel here, as you can see, there is a little bit of a rock that's outside of the ball joint that the figure has to position itself. And it is a very nice representation of the old G1 style head. Other than that, it's your typical universal joints in the shoulders, universal joints in the hips. Due to transformation, you actually have double jointed knees. And of course, you have that nice siege ankle pivot, which can lock and unlock in place, you know, soft little tabbing and what have you. But it helps with the posing and what have you. But then again, you're not really going to do a lot of posing with this guy. Hoist wasn't much of a action guy. He was more of the scientist, which I think is kind of cool because there's him, Wheeljack, and Grapple all in Wave 1. These are like the engineers, creators, scientists. You throw Ratchet in, you basically have the Season 1, Season 2 Autobots who kept everybody together. Now, other than that, give you a little spinneroonie of the figure. Yes, there is some hollowness to the back, but I think the front wheels here and this backpack do help cover it up. But I know for a lot of people, that's going to be an automatic not going to buy this figure because, hollowness is an issue. Look, unfortunately, it should have gone away years ago. It should never have been an issue, but that's how Hasbro operates. Buy Transformers, don't buy Transformers. That's up to you, but this is what it is. So, we'll pause, and I'll come back with my final thoughts. Okay, so while I think Hoist is a good figure, I don't think it's the best figure of Wave 1. I think this is going to be like the Hound. A lot of people are going to dismiss it and turn away from it, only to come back and realize just how cool of a figure it actually is. I'm happy with my purchase. I wish the arms were a little bit tighter. I wish the transformation was a little less fiddly. These are all things that over time can be dealt with and looked into. You can fix it on your own. But, hey, to have a Hoist in 2020 be part of a Wave 1 line, that's not bad. Especially to go with his buddy Grapple. That's even better. I mean, Grapple. It's like, when has Grapple ever been like a Wave 1 figure? That's a trivia question for you. Go back and look. Not so much counting G1 since we really didn't have waves back then, but how many figures over the years have appeared in the most Wave 1 assortments? Obviously, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee have been there, but just dealing with Generations, Classics, and Universe, looking at it that way, I'm just very curious to see, because, we got Wheeljack here, and Wheeljack's never been a Wave 1 guy, but I'm just rambling. I think it's a fun figure. Like I said, I got this off of eBay. It is showing up in retail now. Hopefully, if you're interested in getting it, you'll be able to find it through whatever means you choose. This is your old pal Chuck for Hoist. We will see you next time.